just want to challenge you with this question. What are you putting on the scoreboard between now and month end, between now and Monday night at 6 p.m.? I believe that every single person on this call right now could go one by one recruit, 1,000 in premium. And so that's my challenge to you guys, one by one, by Monday night at 6 o'clock. If you haven't done your own stuff yet, do that. Talk to a friend, whatever it is. But let's get you a promotion by the time month end hits, guys. So we're gonna get rolling right into this. I believe it should have said broadcasting on YouTube. Can you give me a thumbs up if y'all had that pop up on your screen? Your screen? Yeah, cool, sweet. All right, so we're going to jump right into this. Let's see. All right. So first off, guys, we're going to talk about there's 3 different key points and then the actual recruiting presentation, right? So 3 different points and the actual recruiting presentation. So number 1, guys, is your mindset about recruiting. Like, you have to understand that just as a general rule of thumb in business, you're either recruiting or you're being recruited. It's one of the 2 things. And we need to just realize that that's just a fact. That's how business works. Like, you got hired somewhere else, aka you got recruited to a different job. Okay, so this, I'm going to say this probably a lot today. You can be mad that that's what happened, or you can realize that that's what happened and make it so you build a business that allows you to recruit other people to work in your business forever. Right? Or you can go and get recruited and work somewhere else for $13 an hour or 15 or whatever it is, right? And that's just how it works. Okay. So you got to understand, number 1, it's a mindset around recruiting. You're either going to be an employee or an employer for the rest of your life. Okay. And that's the reality, guys. And you can just decide today that, hey, I'm going to focus and I'm going to shift my mindset. Number 1 is mindset to recruiting. You need to have a recruiting mindset. Wherever you go, I'm always looking for good, sharp people. Okay. The second thing is a recruiting focus. Guys, I'll be honest with you. Like, there's people in the company that don't want us to have recruiting numbers higher than premium numbers, because that means that not everybody's getting a fast start bonus. Not everybody's getting, the client services and stuff like that. And while I agree with that, I disagree with the fact that we shouldn't recruit people, get them plugged in and allow them to get licensed, right? My focus is on recruiting, then the sales, right? Why? Because recruiting always leads to premium, right? I want you guys to put that in the Zoom chat. Recruiting leads to premium. If you're not making enough money right now, it's because you don't have enough people that you are training currently. Okay. If you're not making them, or you're not licensed, that might be part of it too. But if you're not making enough money, it's because you don't have enough recruits that you're working with, helping them build their business, guys. Look, again, you can be mad at the fact that that's true, or you can recognize that that's true and recruit more people and go on more field training appointments. Okay. So the last thing is intention. You have to have an intention behind recruiting. Are you recruiting them just to get a number? Like, are you recruiting them just to say, I have 5 recruits? Or are you recruiting them to say, those 5 people, I'm going to get 3 of them licensed, and I'm going to take 1 of them to district leader, and I'm intentional about building that relationship between them, right? Does that make sense? So it's about the intention behind you bringing somebody on. Guys, I'll be real with you. For the first 6 months of Primerica, I was like playing recognition Primerica, not cash flow Primerica. I was playing the game of like, run it up, get high on the scoreboards, like be number 1 in all the categories, guys. And then we shifted in November to really focusing on cash flow Primerica, build a business Primerica. And all of a sudden, what happened? We made way more money. We've tripled our income since December. Okay. Monthly income since December. And then on top of that, guys, we're dominating the freaking leaderboards. Like, the recognition is going to happen because we're building the business, the cash flow Primerica. Are you following me right now? You're building a business. You're not competing for trophies. The trophies are cool, but if you actually work to get the trophies, get the premium trophies, the cash flow trophies, right? The RVP promotion trophies. That's the stuff you want, because that's the stuff that means that you're winning financially. Okay. So those are the 3 biggest things. Number 1, your mindset needs to be a recruiting mindset. Your focus when you're talking to people, it's not, hey, let me sell you life insurance. It's like, hey, what do you do for work? Like, what's it take to double your income? Stuff like that, right? You're focused on building a recruiting, or you're focused on recruiting them, not focused on selling them stuff, right? Because if you recruit them and plug them in, they're eventually going to become clients, right? Why? Because our products are the best, hands down. So you plug them into the system, and then over time they become a client. Okay, so we have to understand how this whole thing works, right? The last thing though is the intention, right? When I'm meeting with somebody, my intention is to recruit them, and then on the back end of that, sell them a policy and help them invest, right? Why? Because I know that if somebody does what I tell them to do, they will grow a business, right? Guys, and this, I'm talking to my brand new person I brought on yesterday. Her name's Michelle. She told me, she's like, I've never been good at recruiting, but I've always been good at sales. I've never had a system to follow. She followed the system yesterday. We booked over 23 recruit appointments yesterday in 6 hours for a brand new person. Now that's, again, that happens sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. But what was my intention on that, Carolyn? My intention was to recruit more people for her, to lock her in, to keep her in the business, right? My intention wasn't just to, hey, go get your license and then, then we'll talk. No, it's put this post up on Facebook. Guess what? She told me, hey, I'm in like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to really be able to get this thing going. Yesterday, we booked 23 recruit appointments. Guess what? She texted me this morning. I'll be licensed by the end of the week. I'm forcing urgency into the business by recruiting, right? Because I'm locking her in, guys. That's how you secure somebody. You do it intentionally and you recruit them a team. Does that make sense, guys? Are you guys following where I'm at right now? If you want to lock somebody in and all my people are quitting, it's because you're not moving fast enough with your people, right? You're getting them in and they're not doing anything at all. You need to get them in and get them a recruiter too. That'll lock them in because they don't want to lose their people, right? Are you guys following? Does this make sense? We need to get our people in the business and then lock them in with a recruit or a new teammate, okay? So, guys, there are 3 portions, okay? And I don't have a slideshow for this on purpose. You need to be taking notes. You need to be paying attention. You can go back and watch this. I hate making slideshows because the reality is it makes us lazy. We screenshot it and we zone out, right? I don't like slideshows for that exact reason. So, guys, there's 3 parts to your recruit interview. So the first one, you're forming them. Okay, so everybody write form, F-O-R-M. And I'm going to go over what that means in a second. Number 2, you're asking the recruiting questions. What are you doing in the beginning? What are you doing in the beginning with the recruiting questions? You're eliminating almost every objection that you're going to run into. Okay, so I have the recruiting questions. So number 1, I am forming them. Number 2, I'm asking the recruiting questions. And number 3, I'm going over the blue page and then the concepts if I need to. All right. So again, number 1, you're forming them. Number 2, you have the recruiting questions. And number 3, you're going over the blue page and the concepts. Okay. And then you close it. And then I guess number 4, if you want to call number 4, fill out the IBA, but that's not really part of like the presentation, right? That's just normal. So with those 3 things, guys, the first thing I do when I get on an appointment with somebody is, and I'm going to role play with somebody at the end because it only takes like 10 minutes if you do it the right way. So I'm going to give you everything first, and then I'm going to do it so you can see what it looks like. Okay. So the second or the first part, the form part is family. So F stands for family. The O stands for occupation or their work. What do they do for work? How do they make money? Basically is what I'm asking. The R is for recreation or fun. Like, what do you do for fun? Okay. So family, occupation, recreation. And then the M is for motivation. Why are you here? What are we doing here today? Like that, I literally will ask that exact, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here today? So those are the 4 things: family, occupation, recreation, motivation. So, hey, what do you do for work? What do you do? Tell me about your family. Are you married, kids? What's that like? Just dogs, cats, goldfish. Tell me about your life. And I let them just spew everything. And generally, they're going to give you something in each of those categories. And then what I do is I try to then go and dive into the area where I think I can kind of find the most pain points, right? The most places to get them to realize that where they're at right now isn't working, and what we have to offer is going to be better than where they're at. Okay, so I let them give me whatever they want to. I ask a couple other questions. Hey, what do you do for, what's your spouse do for work, etc., stuff like that. Then okay, what's your motivation? Perfect. Okay, awesome. Once I feel like I've gathered enough info about their family, what they do for work, their skill set, if I've identified their color personality, which if you don't know what that is, there's a book. I'll do a presentation on that at some point. But once I feel like I've identified their color personality, then I will ask them this question. This is the transition from the first piece to the second piece. So, hey, I'm going to have some questions for you. I'm sure you'll have some questions for me. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions? Everyone should write that down. Don't write it in the chat, write it on your notebook. Hey, I'm going to have some questions for you. I'm sure you'll have some questions for me. Is it okay if I ask you a couple questions? So why am I asking that? Right? Why am I asking that question? Obviously, I'm going to ask them questions, right? I'm getting them to give me permission to ask them questions. I'm also, that is a classic gigantic tie down, right? I'm getting them to give me a big yes to move on to the next portion of the next section of the appointment. Right? So I'm tying them down by saying, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm sure you're going to have some questions for me. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions? Yes. Awesome. Next section, section number 2. Okay. So it's like the second block of the interview. So the first thing is I know, so there's a recruiting audio. I don't ask the first question of at any point during this, if you think this isn't going to be a good fit, would you let me know? And conversely, I'll let you know. I don't ask that, but you can. That first question, so if this is like an optional one, if you want to ask it, cool. If not, no worries. I personally don't. Okay, because I can pretty much figure out by their body language if they're not interested pretty fast. So I just don't ask the question. But so my question would be, hey, if at any point throughout this process, this question, the appointment, you feel like this isn't going to be a good fit, would you let me know? And then they say, yes, of course, sure. That's another tie down, right? And then I would ask them, okay, awesome. So Angie, conversely, if I feel like this isn't a good fit for you, or, this isn't going to be something that would make sense for us to work together, I'll let you know as well. Is that fair? And then they say, yes. So you're getting 2 more tie downs in that question. Again, you don't have to ask that one, but if you're getting a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm just not interested at the end of the entire presentation, you maybe should consider throwing that one in there. Okay. Now I don't, again, because I've worked through that. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I personally I don't teach to do that, but it is something you can do if you would like. Now, the second question is really, in my opinion, that's my first one, is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not helpful at all and I hate helping people, 10 being I like helping people and I definitely need some extra money. How helpful would an extra $1,000 to $1,500 a month be for you and your family? And then they're going to say anything from a 1 to a 20. Okay, I'll just be honest. Or they're going to say a lot. I have a lot. Yeah, a scale of 1 to 10. How helpful would an extra $1,000 to $1,500 be? A lot. Okay, well, so like a 10. Yes. Okay, great. And I get the number, right? Why do I get the number? Because I want them to tell me. And also, guys, if they're giving me like 6 or a 7, like I'm gonna ask them, like, okay, then what are we like? Why are we here? Oh, I just want to see what she's doing. Okay, great. Well, I'm looking for people that are looking to like make extra money. Like, if you're not looking to make extra money, like we can just end this right now, and now we don't have to waste each other's time. I've shut down. It doesn't happen very often, but if somebody's like, oh, like a 3, like I don't really need that. Well, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm just bored, guys. Bored people don't do well in Primerica. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. Bored people don't do well in. Hey, awesome. Listen, like Ellie, and I understand that you're bored and you got stuff going on. I'm looking for people that are looking to make extra money. I mean, is this something that would really help you, or are you just like looking to like pass the time? Pass the time. Okay, cool. Like, and then I'll jump straight to the money question. That almost never happens though, but just know that sometimes it does, and feel free to shut the appointment down. You're conserving your time and their time. Okay. Now, number 2, the second part of that is if they give you an 8, 9, or 10. Okay. So put 8, 9, 10 in the Zoom chat. If they give you an 8, a 9, or a 10, then what I do is I ask them, what's that going to do for you? Awesome. Brandy, listen, I understand that, this is a 10. What is that going to do for you? Is that paying off bills, getting you caught up? Is it getting you ahead, a vacation? Like, I want to tie that money to something. Oh, it's going to get me out of my student loans. Great. Guess what I'm writing down on the paper? Student loans. How much student loan debt do you have? Oh, 12 grand. Okay, great. So in a year, you're going to be paid off with your student loans. If you make $1,000 a month, is that right? Yes. Awesome. Why am I doing that? Oh, I don't really need the extra money. Yes, you do. You just told me you want to be off your student loans paid off in a year. We can do that, right? I'm getting ammunition for later when they're like, well, I don't really need the money. No, you told me it's 10. You're broke. We got you, right? Now, the second question, and every one of you on here should have had all these questions asked to you when you were on your appointment. So you should probably have a general idea of where you think I'm going right now. But number 2, guys, is what is it? Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank right now? Number one, no, number one is the money. Oh, is there anyone that you would need to? I'm not like going through the presentation, so I'm like way off of it right now. But number two is there anybody or is there any reason that you wouldn't be able to get started with the licensing and the training right away? No, that's fine. I could get started right away. Great. Yeah, I'm going on vacation tomorrow and I'll be back at the end of the week. Okay, great. Let's reschedule this for next week and we'll get you started. Right now, Brian got started because he's a decisive person, can make a decision. He's here. He's on vacation, going to get licensed by the time he gets back from vacation. That's the type of person that you want. He's like, I'm going on vacation, but no worries, I can still get it going, right? Like, that's totally fine. But if they're like, oh yeah, I just don't do work on vacations. That is an employee mindset. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've been a business owner for 10 years. I love what I do. I love it. So guess what? Every vacation's a freaking business trip. I go on vacations for free. The government pays for them. Don't tell, this is a YouTube video, so don't tell the IRS. No, but no, for real, we write it off. Why? Every time I go, guys, listen, like I'm dead serious. Every time I go on a vacation, when I had my CrossFit gym, guess where I went? CrossFit gyms. What did I do? Meet with the owners, talk to them, called them before I was coming, scheduled up a 10-minute coffee, 15-minute coffee meeting or whatever. Just wanted to pick your brain real quick. Why? Market research. You write off everything. Every time I travel with Primerica, I write off everything. Why? Because it's business. We went to New Orleans last weekend. I got 17 names and numbers in New Orleans. I wrote off the entire trip. Why? I'm going to open up a New Orleans office, looking for candidates. Yes, you can write off everything, guys. With a primary, like I'm just being real, right? So anyway, travel. That was a rabbit hole. That's a different training, different day. Sorry. Thanks for pulling me back. But guys, so the second question, is there any reason you wouldn't be able to get started right away? No, I can get started right away. Awesome. Cool. We'll get you plugged in. Perfect. Number three, is there anybody, the third question. Okay. So if they say, no, I can't get started right away. You know, my cat has claw removal surgery next week. I just can't get started until next year. Okay, great. Reschedule it. Trust me. Save yourself the time. Okay. But they're most likely going to say, no, that's fine. I can get started right away. I got a busy week, but I can get started. Okay, cool. Number three, is there anyone that you would need to check with prior to getting started? What am I trying to do? Remove I need to talk to my husband. I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my goldfish, my veterinarian. I need to talk to my cable provider, whatever the bull crap they're going to give you is. I'm removing that right there. Why? Because at the end of the appointment, when they're like, oh, I just want to check with my husband or my spouse, my wife, whatever, before I get started. Hey, listen, earlier you told me you'd be able to make the decision by yourself. So did that change? Some of you guys are afraid to ask that question, and that's why people walk all over you. Right? So just understand that, like, you're in control, right? You need to understand that on the recruit appointment, you are in control of the conversation. Fourth question. This is where people go off the rails a lot of times and they just totally freeze up. Okay. So there are 3 learning tracks. Okay. So let's back up. Number 3, they give you the, okay, yeah, I can make my own decisions as far as what I'm doing for money. Perfect. Okay. Number 4, there are 3 different learning tracks. Okay. The first one, it's like a referral partner, spare time, silent partner, whatever word you want to use there. All 3 of those work the same. Okay. Referral, spare time, I don't even ever use silent partner. I literally never say silent partner, but that's one that you could say. So referral partner, spare time, silent partner. Do whatever you want. You need to get licensed. Once you're licensed, you send people to me. I take care of them for you. I do all of the work. You make 50% of the eligible commission. Okay. And typically that's going to pay you $250 to $500 a month. Nothing crazy, but you'll make a little bit of money doing that. Okay. Number 2, the second part is part-time. Part-time, maybe even spare time. We're looking for about 5 to 15 hours a week here. 5 to 15 hours a week. Once you're licensed and you're following the system that we teach you, right? That's the key. I always say that. And you follow the system we teach you, you'll make anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000 a month, part-time, on your own schedule, 5 to 15 hours a week. All right. And last but definitely not least is the leadership track. The leadership track is where somebody can come in. They're going to probably start part-time, but build to full-time as quick as they can. And what we're doing in that is we're teaching them how to build the business, how to open up an office. I'm just going to talk a little bit differently to you, hold you to a little bit of a higher standard there. Which of those 3 sounds best to you? Referral partner, couple $100 a month, part-time, 1,500 to 3,000, or full-time, 5,000 plus once you're licensed. Which of those is best? Part-time, 95% of the time, you're probably going to get a part-time. Perfect. Okay. Number 5, this is about the licensing and all of that stuff. Okay. So is there anything that would stop you from passing a federal background check, or do you have any financial, anything going on, liens against you, active bankruptcies, or anything along those lines? No, I don't. Great. Okay. So we're going to pay for anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000 of your licensing. Okay. So we're going to pay, make sure you say that we are going to pay for anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000 of your licensing. Go look up how much it costs to get the life insurance license, the SIE, the 6, the 63, the 65, the 26, the mortgage license. Go look up how much it costs for you to get the material, take the test, get appointed, all that stuff. It's $4,000 to $6,000, like easy. Okay. So we're going to pay for $4,000 to $6,000 worth of your licensing. Is there any reason that, no, shoot, back up. I don't say that. We're going to pay for $4,000 to $6,000 worth of your licensing. What we require is that you put a one-time refundable licensing deposit. Okay. So it's $124 for that licensing deposit. You go on 2 successful field training appointments. We're going to get you $250 back. You double your money, you get a license. Worst case scenario. Okay. So best case scenario, you get a basic education in money and finance. You realize you like this. You're making a couple grand a month from home part-time. Worst case scenario, it's not for you. Make $250. You get a license in the financial services industry and a basic education in money and finance. Would that $124 be an issue for you today? That's the main word that you're not saying at the end of your appointments, which is why you're running into the money issue. Would that be an issue for you today? No, it would not. Okay, awesome. Hey, I'm going to share my screen, right? So that's the end of the recruiting questions. So I'm going to share my screen. And that's what I say. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a little bit about who we are and what we do. And then we'll get you plugged into licensing after that is done. Sound good? Everybody type sound good in the chat, right? I'm going to get you plugged into licensing. Or sorry, I'm going to share my screen, show you a little bit about what we do. And then I'm going to get you plugged into licensing. Sound good? What I'm immediately telling them, we're getting you plugged into licensing right away. And they are then agreeing to that. They know it costs money. They already told me part-time. They can do it right now. They don't got to check with anybody. And a 10 to make $1,000 a month is great. They already told me that they're ready to get started. Okay. Now right here in this moment, guys, I'll be dead honest with you. 80% of the time I go straight to an IBA. I don't even show them anything about what we do. Why? Because I formed them and figured out that they hate their job and they need to make extra money. We talked a little bit. I told them about my story and I shared a little bit about how I was getting ripped off of the cash value policy. And then I flip it and I explain how we did term and buy the difference. And now, now we have money saved up. We have money invested. We're paying way less for life insurance. And they at least understand a little bit about what we do. Now, if they're wanting a little bit more information, or if they're married and have kids and they're in a good market, like if it's a pastor or, a football coach in the community, or somebody that's like they have great credibility, or at least they're in a position, like obviously you can only judge by what they tell you, right? But if they're in like a great position where typically that person has a lot of pull or weight in the community, I'm going to show them I'm going to show them what we do. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to walk through. I'll take an extra 5-10 minutes. If it's somebody that's like a 19-year-old kid, that I'm just being real. Like if it's like some 19-year-old kid that's just on here in the middle of college looking for a part-time job, look, hey, we're going to get you licensed. I'm going to teach you about money and we're going to go from there. Sound good? Yes. Great. Awesome. And then we'll get them into the thing. But if anyone does ask, like, I just want to know a little bit more. Cool. I'll share my screen. I don't care. Like I will share my screen. I'm not trying not to, but if I know I can close it right there, I'm going to. Like, I'm not going to take an extra 15 minutes to show them a bunch of stuff if they're already into it. Why? Because they're going to learn all that crap anyway, like during the time that we're training them, right? So if they're ready to go, I'm getting them plugged in. Okay. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay with you? Yes, it is. Awesome. I definitely had this pulled up and now I don't know what happened. Hang on. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I put this, guys, I put this in the Telegram. Because it's also in Teachable. And recently I've had a few of you guys tell me, I don't know where I can find this. It's in the Teachable. And there's also an instruction video on how to get to it in the Teachable, but I put this in the Telegram earlier. So you all should go save this to your computer. Okay. So when I get onto this, I always ask them, we're with a company called Primerica. Have you ever heard of Primerica before? They're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, I say, awesome. Tell me everything. What was your experience? What do you know? Most of the time, oh, I've just heard the name. I've seen a sign, something like that. That's it. And then it ends there. Sometimes they had a bad experience or their mom did it or their uncle, whatever, blah, 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 right? Oh, isn't that an MLM thing? Okay, great. Like, why do you think that? Like, tell me a little. Well, my friend tried to get me to join 30 years ago. Okay, cool. I just, and then I diffuse the situation. Have you ever been to a restaurant that you like and the food wasn't as good as it normally is? Yes, I have. Okay, did you not ever go to that restaurant again, or did you maybe just have a bad waiter? Oh, I just maybe had a bad waiter. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to walk you through who we are and what we do. Perfect. Great. Very, very, very rarely. I've done probably 2,000 plus appointments over the last 2 years, if I had to guess. And I have only once actually had somebody tell me that they did not want to move forward after hearing it was Primerica. That person at one point in time was almost a regional vice president, and then they just decided to go a different route and they just weren't looking to do that. That's fine. You're not going to make them do it, right? Outside of that, generally, no one has any idea who Primerica is. Okay. So, awesome. Well, and then I would say if I were, this is weird going through it without being able to like just flow straight through it like I normally do. So I said, if I were to say to you, like a good neighbor, what would you say? And they always say State Farm is there, right? And then I tell them, so you've been brainwashed. Don't worry, I'm not gonna hold it against you. Everybody's been brainwashed. We're actually a part of the largest independent financial services marketing organization in North America. And I just read the line, right? And I tell them the industry average is about $700 million in advertising. We don't spend a dime. Okay, so what we do is we just tell people about it and we work through referrals and word of mouth business. Would you rather get your referrals from the internet, or would you rather, or your leads from the internet, or would you rather have people coming to you that want what you have, that have relationships with you and people that you've served in the past? Oh, I definitely want people coming to me wanting our products. Okay, perfect. We're going to teach you how to build that. We're listed on the stock exchange. We're a publicly traded company. We've been public for 13 years. Our stocks are about 181 a share. And I'll tell them too, like, Wells Fargo owns almost $100 million worth of our stocks. BlackRock owns like almost $500,000 worth of our stocks, and Vanguard owns almost $1 billion worth of Primerica stock. So we're a publicly traded company that's sought after by other investment companies to hold our stock because of how stable it is. We have 2.7 million client investment accounts and over 5.7 million lives insured through our companies. We've been featured in Forbes magazine as a best insurance company, a top 25 places to work for diversity, top 25 places to work for women. We're the top mutual fund service company for the last 20 consecutive years. So basically, we just have a ton of different accolades through Forbes. We've also been featured as the #1 most trusted life insurance company and the #3 most trusted financial services company by Investors Business Daily. Basically, a whole bunch of people telling us that we're really good at what we do. You just haven't heard of us because nobody's ever talked to you about who Primerica is before. Fair enough? And they're like, yeah, that's okay, cool. I'm with you. Makes sense. Awesome. Now, our mission is to help people earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, or financially independent. Do either of those sound like it would be good for you? Yes, all of it is what they say almost every time. Perfect. So you're here because you want to earn more income, but some people come in here because they want to learn how to get the right type of life insurance. They want to learn how to get out of debt. They want to learn how to become financially independent, have their own money, all that type of stuff, right? So we're here to talk about the earning more income part. So how you do that is we teach people how money works so that way they can make decisions about how to actually manage their money. And we do that through a financial needs analysis. Now that's free. You don't make any money for doing that. Okay. But on that, you're going to figure out wills, home and auto, life insurance, investments, all types of different places that you can make money from that financial needs analysis. And the question I always ask them on the way out of that is they would agree that having a plan is better than not having a plan. They say yes. Right. And then I would say, awesome. Who currently handles your financial planning? And then I realize real quick that they don't have a financial planner. So guess what I do? I schedule the financial needs analysis for the recruit on the appointment. If I need to, right? If I get this far, I'm scheduling a financial needs analysis. Usually when I get this far, it's with people that are married without have kids. Okay. So awesome. So we're going to meet together with you and Bob next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Or that's training. Don't do that. But whatever, 5 o'clock next Tuesday, right? And we're going to do your financial needs analysis. It's totally free. We're just going to make sure you're in the best position for you. And that is what we do for clients. And then you're going to see on that appointment how we have all of our products fit into that financial needs analysis. So where it makes sense, you close business, right? Awesome. Cool. Any questions? No. Great. Go to your app store. I'm going to have you download 2 apps, the Telegram app, the Primerica app. And I ask, what are you most excited about? And then I go straight into the IBA. I very, 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 very rarely go to the concepts. Why? Because if they show up to training like they should, they're going to learn them all within a week or two, right? They're going to learn all the concepts within the next week or two. And I've explained to them that we're a giant financial services company and that we right the wrongs in the financial services industry. We do it for free. We help people get out of debt. We help them understand insurance. We help them understand investments. That's really it, guys. Anything more than that, I'm just being honest with you. You're overwhelming people with information and you're kind of stressing them out a little bit. They're like, oh, it's so much. I could never do that, right? If you're going like, look, there's so much crap on this page, guys. Let's just be real. Like I could go to 7 million different pages. I could spend 45 minutes talking about your credit score and how to get out of debt and the how money actually works and go over all these statistics and the power of compounding interest. And then I could come down here and beat a dead horse with the power of compounding interest with the rule of 72. And then I could do the theory of decreasing responsibility. You get the point. Then I could come down here and do this also and show them how they get paid. Guys, I didn't even know this page existed, to be honest, until right now, if I'm being real. Like I really did not know that this page even existed on this pamphlet because I never go there. Why? Because you don't need to. I recruit more directs than everyone else on our team. I'm not saying that to like brag or be like, you need to do better. I'm just telling you, stop reinventing the wheel and become surgical with what I'm giving you right now. And you will close everything that you sit on if they have the money and they're interested. I can book 15 to 20 recruit appointments a month and close 12 to 20 recruits, or 12 to 15, I'll say 12 to 15 recruits. Personally, every month, like freaking clockwork. Not to mention my team that I'm building through those people. Guys, let's just be real for a second. Put it in the Zoom chat, yes or no. If you on your recruit appointment would have had somebody spend 3 hours with you going over every single freaking tab that you're looking at here, all the stats and all this other stuff, how many of you would have been like, I need to get off this call, whatever it takes? I'll be like, frick, I'm not interested anymore. I don't care how much money I can make. That shit is boring and hard. I can't do that. You're causing, I'm just being serious with you guys. You're causing the problem because you're giving them so much information. They're like, I'll never be able to do that. Like if I walked into like Angie, if I went into your job with you and you try to teach me all the crap that you do every day as a nurse, I'll be like, I'm out. I quit. I'm leaving. I'm leaving forever. I'm never coming back. But if I go in there and you're like, all right, so today we're just doing this, right? We're just looking at the computer. When the screen beeps, tell me, I'll go do everything else. Right? Like, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I could do that. And then the next day, you're like, hey, when it beeps, just walk in the room and make sure they're alive. I'm like, cool, I got that, right? But that's the next day. That's not day one. Guys, you're scaring people away because you're making them think like you're good. You might be good at what you do. You might be good at giving the whole presentation. And sometimes you need to. Like I see you guys in the chat saying, hey, I give all the information. So sometimes you need to. They're like, hey, what about this? How do I get paid? What do we do here? You can do it, but you can do it in 30 seconds, right? Watch here. It's super simple. Hey, yeah, I just want to see a little bit more about what you do. Okay, no problem. Like, you know, people that are in debt, right? Yes. Okay, great. The average person has about 5 or 6 different things that they're in debt on, cards, stuff like that. Does that sound familiar? Yes. Okay, great. On average, it takes 23 years to pay that stuff off. They're paying $214,000. They're paying $2,720. Okay. With us, they're going to pay it off in 9 years. So 14 years faster. They're going to save 130 grand in interest. Right, the last house that we lived in before we moved to Florida, we sold it for that much. So you're going to save the worth of some houses, right? You're still paying some interest, but your monthly payment stays the same. But you're out of debt 14 years earlier. Now you can start investing 272,000. That would be great. 272,000 a year, $2,720 a month. You can start investing, which at a 9% rate of returns, 2.4 million, assuming you start that when you're 39. So you're 67. You just get out of debt on time, right? That's it. I don't do anything there at all. I just go to the next page, this one. Hey, have you ever heard of the rule of 72 before? I have not. Great. Basically, take the number 72, right? Take the number 72, divide it by your interest rate. That tells you how long it takes for your money to double. So at 3%, 72 divided by 3, it takes 24 years to double. 72 divided by 6% is 12, so it takes 12 years. 72 divided by 12 is 6, so it takes 6 years. Which one of those sounds like it would be most favorable for the people that you know, like, and trust? Green, great. We're going to show you how to teach them that. Last but not least, insurance and investments. Most people think in the middle class, especially, they get sold on this cash value policy. When if you look at this, they're paying $235 for 200,000, then they have $74,000 available when they go to retire. We teach them how to get out of that, which is they trap them into keeping that money in a bunch of different ways. I can teach you. I could explain that to you right now if you want me to, or I could just show you what we do, which is we get them to pay $82 a month for their insurance, have that be separate from their investments. That we save them $153 a month. They invest that $153 a month. They have $282,200 at the age of 65. Which situation would you rather be in? 200,000 with maybe being able to keep that 74, or 500,000 with an additional 282,000? Oh, I take the one on the right. Okay, great. How you get paid? $82. Let's say it's $1,000 in annual premium. As a part-time district leader, you're making $500 when you go out and you help that family. How soon do you want to get started? Right now. Great. And then I fill it out. And then I go right into it, guys. So look, we got 15 minutes left. Do you guys want to see me like quickly go through like a form and then get to the IBA in 15 minutes with somebody real quick? That'd be cool. All right, let me see. Who's somebody that Carolyn, I don't really know you all that well. Can I pick on you? Is that okay? You got a quiet background? If you do, cool. If not, I can get somebody else. It's no big deal. I don't know if you guys can unmute yourselves. I don't think you can.
I just had to quiet my background, my music.
Okay, cool. No worries. All right, cool. So guys, like I just got on a call with Carolyn. Carolyn, let's pretend that she's not even a referral from a recruit. She's somebody that I randomly met on Facebook, right? Okay, so Carolyn, I'm gonna pin you, okay? So don't do anything crazy. I'll pin myself as well on the screen, but don't be crazy, okay? So awesome. Well, Carolyn, hey, it's great to meet you. How did we end up here today? You saw a Facebook post, right?
Yes, saw Facebook posts.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, cool. Carolyn, I'm excited to get to meet with you, tell you a little bit about what we do. Tell me a little bit about you. Who's Carolyn? What do you do for work? Are you married, kids, bunch of pets? Tell me a little bit about your life.
I'm 42. I am married. I have 4 kids, have 8 grandbabies. And I work at the RV factory here in Decatur, Indiana. And I have just 1 cat.
Okay, you got one. You say you got 1 cat. What's your cat's name? Let's be honest. That's your favorite thing that you live with, right? What's your cat's name?
Jasper.
You said Jasper. Nice.
Yep.
And then you said you're married. What's your spouse do?
He works at the Fleetwood RV with me.
Okay.
So we both work at the RV factory.
Awesome. How long have you been there for?
I've been there going on 2 years, and he's been there going on 10 years.
Okay. Sweet. Does he own it yet? Like, is he running the show? He's been there forever.
No, he runs his department. I mean, he knows everything, and they won't move him because he knows so much. So he hates it, but it's a job.
Okay. Awesome. And then you've been there for 2 years. What do you do there?
I am in wiring harness. I make the harnesses for the coaches for the whole wiring section of it.
Awesome. And then you said you have 4 kids and 8 grandkids, right? So I'm assuming some of them no longer live with you. How many do you still have kids living at home, or are you guys empty nesters at this point?
No, empty nesters. We do not have no kids
them all
at
out.
home.
Good job. You passed the game. Great job. How many you have? 8 grandkids? Are they all local? Are they kind of all over the place?
Yeah, they're all local.
Cool. And then are they all like, what are they working? Like, what do they all do?
My middle child currently is not working. My son is currently incarcerated, and my oldest is not working because she has 5 kids with her husband. So, and my first son is deceased. He passed away at 3.5 months old. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. So why I asked that real quick, I'm going to go like completely out of the appointment for just a second. So I'm asking a little bit of questions just about her family, trying to see what the market's like. right? Are they married, kids? Like where, like, is it they're all single, just kind of living at home? Are they all married with kids? Like what am I working with when I'm training her, right? Am I going to be able to take her into her see her market? I think I would be able to, based on what she just told me. There's some way to get into there, right? So that's why I asked that question. Anyway, back to the appointment. So Carolyn, what do you guys do for fun when you have downtime? I know you guys work together, right? So maybe you try to escape each other after work, or do you guys like to go do stuff for fun? Like, do you guys hang out?
No, we actually set our camper down at Amishville campgrounds in Geneva, just like not even 20 minutes from us. And that's what we
Okay.
like to do for fun. We like to go to the campgrounds and get away for the weekend, usually.
Okay. Awesome. And then what made you get on this call today? Why are we here? What are we looking for? Tell me a little bit about that.
Looking to earn extra money. It's always nice to have that extra money to fall back on.
Okay. And how much extra income are you looking to bring in roughly?
I'm looking to bring in as much as I can. I know it's part-time right now for me because I do work a full-time job. So, I'm also trying to get out of factory work. So if this could lead into something of full-time for me, then I'm looking to do that because I don't want to be in a factory for the rest of my life
Hey,
or
fair enough.
retirement.
Yeah, I can't say that I would fault you there. So about, you can make up a number, you don't have to tell everybody the actual number, but about how much are you guys making like annually between the two of you guys?
Uh, Roughly almost 80,000.
Okay. So I mean, not bad, but you would agree that like 80,000 isn't what it used to be, right? And you're probably not able to do all the things that you want to do with 80 grand, right? And
Right.
Carolyn, what would it take for you to double your money? What would it take for you to make $160,000 a year between you and your husband?
Um, could probably try to figure out we don't really spend a lot of money, so I can't really say not spend hardly any money because I mean
Right. Well, I'm talking about making 160 grand a year. What would it take for you guys to bring in 160,000?
oh, that would require
You have to hit
working
the lottery
another
probably,
job.
right? Right, exactly. So what guys, what I'm trying to do is like get her to realize like, oh yeah, I'm kind of stuck. Like this is a dead end, right? Like I'm not going much further. Maybe I'll go to 82,000, but I'm not really going much beyond that, right? So I'm asking that question intentionally. Don't be afraid to ask that question. So Carolyn, I have some questions for you. I'm sure you have some questions for me. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Awesome. First question, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like not helpful at all, definitely don't need the money, 10 being super helpful, like I'm struggling, need it to pay bills. How helpful would an extra 1,000 to maybe 1,500 bucks a month be for you and your husband right now?
Quite helpful.
It's like a 10.
Yeah.
I told you guys that she said, I even told her earlier that she was going to say that, and she did. So awesome. And then, what's that $1,000 going to do for you? Like, Carolyn, if I gave you a check, for every month for the next 12 months, and all you had to do is cash it on the day, what would you do with that extra $1,000 a month?
I would leave it in the bank and just start investing and just having money in the bank and not have to worry about paycheck to paycheck and worry about if something happens, how are we going to pay for that to get it fixed?
Yeah, so we're basically like building an emergency fund, starting investing, that planning for retirement, that
Yes.
type of thing. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you have anything going on for this? Is not, I only ask this question if it comes up. Do you have anything going on for retirement right now, like 401k, stuff like that, or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Awesome. So the second question, is there any reason that you would not be able to get started right away? Like, do you have a bunch of vacations coming up, or are you able to like, hey, whatever it takes, I'm ready to get going. I need to get this started. I need to make extra money.
Nope. I'm able to get started right away.
Awesome. Is there anybody that you need to check with prior to getting started? I know you said you and your husband work together right now. I'm assuming you've talked to him about coming and meeting with me today. Would he be all right with you making a decision to move forward if this was a mutual interest?
Yes.
Okay. And then The next thing is about the amount of time you're looking to put into something like this. So the first, or we have three different learning tracks, excuse me. We have three different learning tracks that people get started with us. Okay. So the first one, it's like a referral partner, spare time, silent partner, whatever you want to use it. And with that, basically, Carolyn, what you'd be doing is you get licensed because you have to, right? Because we're talking about people's money. So for you to get paid, you have to have a license. But you would send people to me. I would take care of everything for you. You would make 50% of what you're eligible to make. So it's kind of like if you've ever done like one of those send a link to your friends, get your next whatever for free from like an online store or something. It's similar to that. You just get paid actual dollars. So that's number one. You make a couple $100 a month. Nothing crazy. Definitely not retiring off of that, but it's going to get you started. It's going to get you a little bit of income, get you licensed, kind of get your foot in the door. You could stay there forever, or you could go to part-time or even start with part-time. Part-time is about 5 to 15 hours a week. Once you're licensed, you can expect $1,500 to $3,000 a month doing the things that we tell you to do, like doing all the, and I especially if I'm training somebody that's not doing all the things they need to do and they're not making the money they need to be making. I'm just being honest. I make sure I say, if you're doing all the things that we tell you to do and you're doing it at the capacity we teach, which is 10 hours or so a week, you'll make that $1,500 to $3,000 a month. Okay. So the last one is that leadership track. So Carolyn, maybe you're like, you know what, I like my job, but I'm really looking to get out of it. Eventually I'd like to not do this anymore. You did say something about maybe trying to get out of the factory. That's great. We could definitely help you with that. With a leadership track, it's probably going to start part-time and build there, but I'm going to be able to talk to you a little bit different about how to get licensed, how to build your team, how to really build and open and work towards opening up your own actual office. Which of those three would be best? Referral partner with a couple $100 a month, that part-time track with 1,500 to 3,000, or the full-time leadership track, which will be 3 to 5,000 plus after you're licensed and really doing everything.
Full-time would be great, but with my job right now, part-time is what is best for me.
Okay, perfect. So guys, I just make a note. I make a note from leadership to back to part-time. So that's what she wants people. We're going to start here. So the last question, Carolyn, is about the licensing and stuff like that, right? So you're going to have to get a license. You're talking to people about their money, what to do with it, where to put it. You're advising them on that, right? You got to make sure you don't have any felonies, no embezzlement or anything crazy like that. Anything that would stop you from getting a financial license, any bankruptcies, active bankruptcies, anything like that, or any felonies that would be on your record.
No.
Okay, awesome. And then obviously there is the license. Now we're going to pay for the brunt of the cost of you getting licensed, about 4,000 to 5,000, 4,000 to 6,000, depending on the state you're in, for you to get all of the licenses that we have. So it's life insurance, SIE 6, 63, 26, 65, mortgage license. I'm sure you don't know what all of those are, but you just eventually, if you want to open up an office, you'll need all of those. But getting started, it's the life insurance license. That alone, few $100 at least. So what we do is we take a one-time refundable licensing deposit. So it's $124. What that does, it gets you covered in the background check, gets you into all the material, gets you your own CRM, way you can take care of clients on your computer, from your phone, all that type of stuff. It's $124. Take you on a couple of successful field training appointments. And then you get your license done, you're going to get $250 back. So you double your money, you have a license, right? So best case scenario, Carolyn, you find something that you love, you start making a lot of like extra money and just kind of starts part-time, builds to something that's full-time. Worst case scenario, you get a basic education in money and finance, you get your money back and you have a license. Carolyn, how soon would you want to get started?
As soon as possible.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through the application with you. I need you to go to your phone really quick. I'm going to have you download 2 different apps really quick. All right. Let me know when you're ready. And then guys, just Primerica, Telegram. I pull up the app. I go through everything. I also forgot to ask if that money would be a problem, but I'm assuming not, because she didn't say anything right there. Typically, if it's an issue, you can tell like by facial expressions and like they get a little squeamish. Like I'm not trying to be like mean, but that's just, it happens. So guys, that's it. So we have a few questions. I have a recruit appointment on this Zoom link. So once they pop in the waiting room, I'll tell you guys. But I will stay here and I'll unpin you. Everybody say great job, Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you for your participation. Appreciate you helping out. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, thoughts, whatever about the recruit appointment? How can I help you after you have now seen it? This is not, hey, I need to make money and close kitchen tables. That's not for this call. This is for recruiting specifically. What questions do you guys have about everything that we just went over? Yes, Angela, hello. You could hit the raise hand button, or you could physically raise your hand like Angie
I
if
can
you want
never
to.
find it, and I'm just like me. So we
Whatever, it's
were
all good.
going over, like you went over one of the sections really fast, and I was wondering if you could go over that again. It
Sure.
was, hang on. It was between, I have no cards. It was right between, the section, the parts that is available and, about the licensing. It was like the transition right there. You say something and I didn't quite get it written down.
Oh, okay, awesome. So you're talking part-time, great. Part-time sounds good. So you're thinking 5 to 15 hours a week. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Awesome. Okay, so obviously there's going to be some licensing, right? You're going to be helping people with their money, walking them through how to make decisions with their money. We have to make sure you don't have any felonies, no bankruptcies, robberies, embezzlement, nothing crazy, and you yourself are not in financial distraught, right? So, is there anything that would stop you from getting a license on your background, meaning active bankruptcies, felonies, anything like that?
Yep.
Then they
And
say
then
no.
you, yeah, and then they say no. And then you say, then we're gonna plug the part where you say we're gonna get you plugged into the licensing, that part,
Yeah.
I missed something.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go. So I just got the no for the background check. Awesome. So, we're going to pay for $4,000 to $6,000 worth of financial licensing, life insurance, investments, mortgages, all that type of stuff. And so what we do is we pay for most of that. We do require a one-time refundable licensing deposit. It's $124. We go on 2 successful field training appointments, right? So if we go on 2 successful field training appointments and you pass your test, we're going to get you your money back and you're going to have a license, right? So best case scenario, you find something that you love, you make extra money. Who knows, maybe this turns into an extra career, right? And then on the flip side of that, worst case scenario, you're like, I hate this, and you want to go work at State Farm and make way less money. That's fine. Well, you can go do that, but you have a license and you got your money back. You got a basic education, money, and finance. How soon do you want to get started? Or would that 124 be an issue for you? No, it wouldn't. Great. How soon would you want to get started? Right away. Awesome. Got a couple questions in the Zoom chat. Seth, I'll answer that in just a second. Yeah, Mike. So guys, if you're a lot of you guys are pretty new, so go to search my name on YouTube. It's Dan Romai on YouTube. And all this is the recording is going to be on there. It's under Recruit Bootcamp, I think is what it's called, with today's date. So Seth, how do I mention the $25 a month POL fee? I don't even talk about that until I get to the end of the application when it talks about the money. They already said 124 is fine today, so I'm not going to cause a problem before it happens. Why? Because they don't need to have the $25 a month thing on. They do need to pay for it for the first month, but you can cancel it tomorrow or 2 days later. Like you can, so once we get there, I just say, hey, how this 124 is broken up. $99 covers the IBA fee, getting you into licensing, all that type of stuff. $25 gives you a personal website, access to the CRM, all the training material you can need and everything like that. So that's just how it's broken up. It's a monthly fee. It's not like a blood oath or anything. And I joke around with them. Like, I'm like, it's not a blood oath. Cancel whenever you want to. Like, we're not going to call you telling you owe $25. Like, just if you don't pay it, it turns off, but we can shut that off for you if you want to. But you're definitely going to want to have that on to actually service clients. But if you're not licensed in a month, I'll show you how to turn it off if that's what you wanted to do. Sound good? Sounds great. Awesome. Are we doing a card or are we setting you up with direct deposit today? Which would you prefer? I don't care either way. Guys, notice I've never asked them, are you interested? Do you want to get started? Like, not ever is there a yes or a no question. Never. Through the entire start to finish, I've never asked a yes or no question. It's always that yes or yes question. And even like the little transitions, like when I was talking to Carolyn, like, okay, awesome, great. Like, do you and your husband work together? Like, do you guys look for ways to get, like, are you after work? Are you going separate ways? You guys hanging out, right? It's like, not, do you like to spend time with him? Like, no, I hate, like, we go our separate ways. Like, I like to knit and he likes to hunt. Okay, sweet. Like, that's, you got you some spare time. Oh no, we spend every minute together. Awesome. Cool. Let's meet with him then. Because they're probably, you know what I mean? And I'm feeling out the conversation, but I never give them an opportunity to like make an objection. Because there's not logically, y'all would agree, if you get licensed and perform at the capacity that you need to, Primerica works. There's like 10,000 people that make over $100,000 a year. So it's not that Primerica doesn't work. It's that we do the wrong crap. Right. So what other questions do you guys have? I got time for one more. Mom, are you trying to ask a question? Oh,
Maybe Axel was. He's learning here.
hello, Axel.
Say hi.
Does anybody else have a question? If not, I'm ending the Zoom call because they're on a different link, so I have to go to that.
I got just
What's
a
up,
quick
Tyler?
one. Do you
Go ahead.
seem to find a kind of an age discrepancy when it comes to doing the online presentations, you know, as opposed to sitting down face to face?
I could count on two hands the amount of in-person appointments I've done in the last 2 years. Not including them coming to the office for an op night. But like times I've been like, hey, let's go to your house and I'll teach you about the business. Like, I don't do that. I do almost everything online. I have $120,000 rollover that I did last month, but I went to that lady's house. That is the main reason I went to Michigan. I think it was 2 months ago, was because there was 130 grand sitting in her checkbook that I needed to be there to make her feel comfortable to give me, to be on. Like, I'm just being real with you. I paid $99 for a flight and Elian picked me up and I got you lunch or something and we hung out and I went and made $4 grand. Like, so, but not very often, to be honest, Skylar. It's almost entirely online.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep, no worries, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. If you go, guys, the blue page. So here's the thing: the blue page is in the Teachable or in the Telegram. There's 21 of you on here. 21 of you should never have to message me again. Be like, Dan, where is it? It is in the Telegram, and it's also on Teachable. Okay, I'm telling you that because I get asked almost every day, can you send that to me again? And I will literally forward you the email that I sent it to you on the first time to show you that I did it, right? So save it, guys. It's also always going to be on Telegram. It will never get deleted off Telegram. So you can go back to Telegram and get it again. Okay. So if you lose it, that's fine. Just go get it again. It's there. Okay. Now, your homework, if you don't have 3 or 4 appointments today, look at all the people on this call right now. Find somebody you don't know very well. Send them a message on Telegram. So that means you need to actually look at Telegram. There's a nugget for some of you guys. Like, look at Telegram. And help each other. Like, get on, and if you're like, I've never recruited anybody before, sweet, John, pair up with somebody you don't know, grab Seth and run the appointment together. Seth recruit John, John recruit Seth, and then it's going to take you an hour, but you're practicing. You don't go to only games when you're in high school football, right? You don't only show up on Fridays. You go to practice on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then you play a game on Friday, and then guess what you do? You watch the film of the game on Saturday, and then you lift on Sunday, and then you're right back at it again on Monday. Why? Because practice is what makes the games effective. You guys, if you don't have 3 or 4 appointments, I would challenge you guys to, as soon as this call gets over, message somebody on Telegram and go do it. And then take a screenshot of your screen with somebody else and show everybody else that you're actually doing it. Because I guarantee you, if you do that, you'll have success